ever wondered why some friends leave you feeling uplifted, lit up like a Christmas tree, while others leave you feeling drained? Maybe you've met somebody brand new and felt instantly safe or connected, or maybe just anxious and off. Well, you're not making it up. You're intuitive, and what you're sensing is energy, specifically an aura. And auras reflect our thoughts, our emotions, our spiritual state, and are kind of like our own little energetic bubble. It's your personal frequency, your radio station, and it's not just alone. Our auras are interacting with auras, people all the time, everyone around you. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you the basic levels of auras and how they work, why some people feel safe and why others feel off, how your aura acts as a magnet to attract energy that matches your frequency, and how relationships activates deep soul transformational learning through what we call energetic Parisian fancy. So you've ever wondered how we can use our connections to heal, and how our triggers can be invitations to deep soul learning, or maybe wondered why you feel so dang much. Protect your peace while staying open-hearted, then this video is for you. Hi, I'm Sonia. I'm a fourth generation intuitive, and I teach you how to plug back into your innate divine self, your intuition. And if you're new, hi, welcome. I release videos every week, so don't forget to hit all the buttons. You know the drill. So this really came forth because I had a client called me sobbing from her best friend's bachelorette party. On paper, they had been best friends. The moment they met, just instantly synced. And on this bachelorette, she had done all of the things, but ended up feeling not only drained, but depressed and confused. Now, my client had been undergoing her own healing journey. She's been working with me, with a therapist, really doing a lot of deep dives. And from that, she's grown. Her personal frequency has changed. And so her friend that ended up used to being her biggest refuge, her favorite person, they call each other all the time, now all of a sudden wasn't a vibrational match. So first and foremost, our energy is sacred, and it is our first boundary that protects our peace, our presence, our sovereignty, and holds our power. And when we meet others and we're not aware, we get enmeshed into their own vibration. This is where we start to develop the spiritual tool of discernment, seeing people as they are, seeing their aura, seeing their point of view and their perspective, so that we don't end up putting ourselves in relationships or in dynamics that don't serve us. As for my client, as she had changed and grown, what she had felt but didn't realize and recognize was that her frequency had changed, and the connection with her and her friend were still there, but it wasn't a match. It wasn't the same high vibration that she was holding. Her friend was negative, was, death by a million paper cuts, didn't like this, didn't like this, didn't like this. It left her feeling exhausted, and also was a mirror to where she needed to do some of her own soul work. Now, we'll put a pin in that, and I'll come back to that later. As I said, our intuition speaks to us through energy. And when you're intuitive, you are a bright light. And so when we're not conscious, often we can end up feeding into each other's and other people's energy fields. Like my client and her friend. She was a battery getting drained, and her bestie wasn't a bestie, but an energy vampire in disguise. So first, our aura, like I said, subtle energy field. Imagine like this gorgeous little bubble that emanates out. And it's composed of 5 different layers. So our first layers are the physical and what's called the etheric. And this is our physical body. It's the blueprint. Think of it as like the scaffolding for our connection between the heavens and the earth, and is our little like bubble. It's our physical container, right? Like our feelings here. Layer 1. Second, well, now actually third layer, because we're combining these two into one, is our emotional body, also called the astral body. And this houses our emotions, our desires, our reactions, and it's super duper sensitive. If you want to check out my video from last week on energetic boundaries, this is what we're talking about, of a lot of this emotional body that we pick up on things. So when we're feeling uplifted or drained, this is the level in our auric field that is most strongly being affected. And then our highest one is the spiritual. This is our highest, this is where we connect. This is where we get our intuition, connect with our guides, become a clear channel, becomes the higher consciousness, but they layer on one another. So for example, if you're not in your body, you're not taking care of it, that's gonna muddy your auric field, that's gonna then put your emotions off things and make it harder to connect to your guides, to your intuition, to all of it. So each one stacks on one another. And see, the thing is about emotions is that they're like magnets, and our energetic field either magnetizes, attracts people that are the similar frequency, or repels them like a magnet. Like this is not a match. And just like music, right? Two notes have to be in key to harmonize. Otherwise it sounds and feels off. Right? You're like, ooh. Same thing with auras, because what we're talking about is vibration. So as you're saying, remember my client from the very, very, very beginning? Well, when we aren't in alignment, when we're not clear, when we're in negativity, when we're in lower frequencies, it darkens our aura. It becomes muddy and clouded and like feels dark. We talk about people who have a dark cloud over their heads. What we're really talking about in colloquial language is their aura. Now, other people feel like bright lights. They are magnetic. Their little shines through their eyeballs. You want to be around them. It's attractive. That's a high, clear aura. And when we do healing work, when we do spiritual work, when we do our evolving work of moving out of reaction to develop our consciousness, we strengthen not only our own auric field, but we actually do our own soul growth, which changes the frequency. So as I was saying, when my client and her bestie first started, they were at this similar point. It's the same kind of cloudy mismatch, boundaries, all of it super sensitive. And as she's gone on her journey of healing, her auric field has changed as she started to clear out all of these different resonances that didn't work with her, getting in her body, working on her emotional reactions, feeling her intuition, connecting with her spirit and her guides. And so even though things were the same, she had changed. She had outgrown this situation, which made it discordant. When we're close to one another, when we share space, not even emotional, physical, even psychic, our auras overlap and merge. And so that's we like co-create together. Those like colors, imagine those like transparent colors, there's like one and then another, right? It's like that. It's like two interlocking pieces. Or for example, if we feel very deeply connected to somebody, spiritually connected, when we don't feel separate, that's when we're really harmonized, what people would call, a twin flame. I've always kind of have some interesting, I'm doing a whole other video on that. But again, when we feel that space, that merge is when we are deeply, deeply, deeply connected. And it's vibratory resonance. That's the key word for it. It's like I said, musical notes. When vibes are harmonious, it feels good. We feel uplifted. We don't feel drained. And we are empowered, right? We empower enough. We feel loving. We can hear. We can forgive. We can use it as a portal to grow. And so it becomes magnetic, it becomes magnetic. Relationships, and this is when you can tell that your auras are a match, is the relationships that are grounded in love, trust, mutuality, respect. And when we do that, the beautiful thing, our auras expand. It expands the frequency of the space. And what I know is that through my own work and development, when I'm with my girlfriends, when I am with some of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and we're giggling, we're laughing, and it just feels so good to be in it, people come and just start talking to us. And it's just a mirror of how that energy becomes irresistible. It's like, I want to be near there. I want to be near that warmth, that light, that source. Now, when an energy is a mismatch, it's dissonant. We feel tension. We feel anxious. We want to pull away. We're all over the place because it's not a match, babe. And so when you feel instantly safe with someone, when you feel instantly connected, that's your energy, as opposed to if you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, that is your body. Your spirit resides in your body, and your intuition is the voice of your spirit, and it speaks through this physical portal. So that's why when you feel that, that's your intuition and your spirit speaking to you. If you've ever with somebody have like a stomach ache or just feel uneasy in one way or another, it's information. That's your intuition speaking to you through the portal of your aura. Don't overthink it. Just notice it. Just notice it. And when we're in equal exchanges, it's like a give and take. It's a super fun volley. That's why when we have friends, we have connections, a community, we both feel uplifted afterwards. We both feel good. We feel heard. We feel seen. It's like everything in you brightens. And as opposed to when we're in an imbalanced relationship, often what will happen is that people will take our energy. They'll take it from us like a little vampire, and then we end up feeling drained. When we start to notice, and this might be also a place of where if you, for yourself, maybe you're constantly giving, that's depleting, somebody's constantly taking, absorbing, that drains us. And so this is the really big thing of where we have to find our own inner balance so that we don't leak our energy or like sip it away from other people. And so when we notice our relationships are the doorways to our spiritual growth, to our spiritual evolution, to our own unfoldment, because all relationships are mirrors. Everybody in and around your life is a mirror, or they're here to initiate something. This is often part of our soul lesson where we have to grow, where we are triggered, what might be unconscious that's ready to come to the surface. And where we need to grow and move into mastery and evolve, where to better love ourselves and others. And so when we start to notice these mismatches, what we call energetic frisson, this is a message where you feel really intensely, emotionally intensely, pay attention, because this is a sign of energy in motion that you are invited to alchemize. I'm going to take that pain point and transform it into a strength and rewrite a story. Instead of nobody ever sees me, for example, might be a place that is a trigger of feeling that way. Okay, well then this is my place to take up space, to be in my light, to be empowered. If somebody's always feeling like that for you, and it's just good information, good intuitive information. Our relationships show us where our ego patterns are, where we're in control, when we're in fear, when we're in people pleasing, when we're in our heads. This is all that place, like I said, of a mirror. And they also are a mirror in the question of how do we exchange energy? Can I hold my own frequency? Or if I'm uncomfortable or around somebody else, do I just give, or try and pour and fix it because I'm not in my own auric field, my own bubble that allows me to interact with grace? So when we start to do this work, our own auric, or we start to pay attention, here's the beautiful thing, is that instead of seeing people as the problem, we stop taking things so personally, right? My client and her bestie, we'll see TBD, we'll see whether they follow through, but her and her bestie was a mirror. How her friend was acting wasn't personal. It was just a mirror to where she is in her own growth and her consciousness. And the question is does that resonate and support, and is that where you want to put your time, attention, and energy? The beautiful thing, the universe is neutral, your spirit, your guides will point you to your highest north, but will respect your sovereignty and in your choices. And where our head might get black and white and say all or nothing, no, this is also where we can first learn how to purify our own aura, learn how to hold our own energy of being in our strength so that we can have choice. It's not all or nothing. It's not abandon the friend, run away forever. See, that's an emotional reaction, right? All or nothing, as opposed to when we start to use these different tools. So first, the place of where we start to work on the physical, emotional realm. Mostly, let's start with the physical. It's even just trying to open up. Meditation. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? When we meditate, when we are able to be still, not only is it a strength, but it's a place of where we can listen. When our mind is quiet, it's a mirror that we are in coherence with our aura and our energy, and where we actually are in connection with our own spirit. That's why meditating 5 to 10 minutes a day as a practice helps to build those muscles so that we stay aligned with our energy field and our spirit. So that's the physical. It's our lower base frequencies. Second, we start to work with emotions, the more sensitive. This is a beautiful place of where we can strengthen our aura and purify it with breath, also called prana. Your breath is an instant mirror to what you're holding emotionally. When we're scared, when we're anxious, when we're in fight, flight, freeze, our breath is the first thing to go. So when we can use consciousness, our mind, to be intentional about our breathing, it helps to clear out that stagnation. We have deep, regular, rhythmic breathing that helps us to realign and clear this field. So a super simple tool that you can use is the 4-7-8 breath. You inhale for 4, hold for 7, out for 8, and repeat that 5-6 times. Close your eyes, use your attention, energy, and awareness, and notice how, when you practice this tool, how the energy, the emotional energy starts to get cleared out. So if we're triggered emotionally, go to breath 100%. Even ask yourself, like, where am I breathing? Third level of our auric field, as I was talking about, is mental. This is what do you think about? What do you pay attention to? You know, when we are really negative, when we get really stuck in negativity and a lot of fear, it follows us. You know, it becomes those different thought loops. You know, it's like where, like I said, dark cloud. We feel it because they're just focusing on what's not working, and it muddies our auric field. So the quickest, most beautiful way to easily start to purify that and train our mind, because it's not policing your thoughts. It's not policing your thoughts. We're human. We have all sorts of different ones. But naming what you love. When we name what we love out loud, that switches our place from what's not working, from negativity to what is. And when we love is one of the highest vibrations on planet Earth, period. In the spiritual field, it's the highest level of consciousness. And we start to bring our attention to our thinking there, it raises our vibration. Second, being creative. Being creative, whether it's in the kitchen, in the garden, how you dress, and any of it, in your spontaneity. Creativity is your imagination. And our thoughts, when they get stuck in negativity, is a misuse of our imagination. Now, often becomes really critical, black, white. So when we're creative in other ways, that helps to stretch us into our flexibility, into our intuitive listening, into our capacity, and into our own empowerment. And be creative. As my Nana would say, there's always a solution. So it helps, like I said, to clarify and uplift. Now, last, we have our spiritual layer of this auric field. This is where we connect to our guides, to our angels, where we pick up on other things. It's our point of connection between the heavens and our physical body. So with simple way is we can take an Epsom salt bath. If you don't have a bathtub, you can also use like a little bucket or tub and put in Epsom salt and baking soda. Salt helps to clear out negativity, and baking soda helps to draw any negativity out of us on a cellular level. Second, what we can do is purify our energy field. This is where you can use Palo Santo or sage, using it in a ritual way to clean and clear your auric field. I also love rose water is another way, but use it with intention and with ritual. That helps to clear our auric field. Last, you could even just scan the energy. Where am I feeling stuff that's not mine? And even physically use your hand and throw it away. We're here, we're clearing the space. Just like you need to take a shower, your auric field also needs to bathe as well. And that's where we start to clear out energy so we can be a clear channel. The simplest way to really have a high vibration is when our words, our actions are in integrity with who we are. When we are true to ourselves, and your spirit will always tell you the truth and point you to your highest north. This instantly not only stabilizes our energetic field, our aura, but expands it and becomes attractive so that we can invite other people in instead of feeling out of whack. So a question to ask yourself in the daily is just, and ask your intuition, ask your spirit, where am I aligned today? Where maybe am I abandoning myself today with the circumstances that might be present? And then listen, take action, act on it. All right, I'm gonna make a different choice. Let's change the channel, raise the frequency, and stay in our beautiful, gorgeous bubble, invited in with the most beautiful other vibrational matches. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll do another part. If you want to do a part 2, definitely check out last week's video on energetic boundaries. Super important. These are so important now more than ever. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to get my spiritual toolkit. Come to my website. I do readings, mentoring, and we have a family podcast. So check the show notes below. And I will see you next week. All my love. Bye.